Hello friends, welcome to our class today. This is called Go Glutes and it's going to be really fun. It's something that I led recently and got really good feedback on, so I hope you enjoy. I will say I'll show something that we're going to do together. We're really focused this class on getting really good hip movement and really good engagement all around the glutes. So we have three glutes. We have the glute max, glute medius, which is the side muscle here, and glute minimus is on like beneath the glute max and glute medius. We're going to try and use all three of them to help stabilize the hips, and we're also going to mobilize the hips within that as well. So I'll just show you, and you're welcome to stand up and do this with me. We're going to mobilize the hip by standing and just feeling this motion here. This is internal rotation where the knee is rolling in, the foot's rolling out. So just go with the knee rolling in. And then external rotations where the knee kind of rolls out and you're staying here, foot kind of comes in. So we can think about where the knee is in relation to the body, internal rotation, external rotation. So let's get started. We'll go ahead and lay down together and bring the block between the thighs. Before we move into bridge, just take a moment, breathe. In through the nose and out through the nose. So while this is a pretty active sequence and pretty active class, we always come back to the foundation of the practice, which is really noticing our moment-to-moment experience, tuning in with our breath, and practicing just being with what comes up without needing to change it or make it something that it isn't. So we're really just practicing presence and a lot of acceptance and using a lot of curiosity within all of this. So let's come up into bridge. And as you're in bridge, we're feeling the glutes, of course, maybe a little bit of hamstrings. Go ahead and bring the hands onto the top of the thighs, and this is really just to keep your arms off the floor and keep your arms from trying to help you out. And while we're here, let's reach the arms up to the ceiling, open the palms, and use your right hand to pull the left fingers back towards your face. There will be a lot of opportunities to get on your hands today. If you like getting on your hands, and I invite you to try out as much as you'd like. If that's something that's new to you, then practice doing standing L and just getting used to being on your hands, whether your hands are on the floor or hands are on the blocks. And then go ahead and switch, pull back on the right fingers. You might start to feel some good engagement of the glutes here. I'm going to ramp it up here in a second. Okay, let's bring the yoga block to the side. We'll use it again momentarily. Bring the feet closer together. Right hand to the right thigh. Root into the right foot, okay? Then bring the left knee over your hip. So we're going right into this right side. Hold it. If you feel like you're tipping to one side, you might kind of tap this right glute and keep these two front pelvic bones in a similar line. Even though it's hard, stick with it. Then lower the left foot down, switch sides, bring the right knee over. It's nice to unweight this right glute. And now again, you can tap this left glute. Waking it up, you can even tap this thigh. And then set the right foot down, Let's bring that block again between the thighs. Hands on the thighs, and then lower the spine segmentally to the floor until you feel the sacrum on the floor, and then come right back up, inhaling, and slowly lower to the floor. Last one, rising up into bridge, and then lower segmentally to the floor. Bring the block between the knees and knees over hips, legs at a 90-degree angle. Bring your hands behind your head, with your elbows up towards your face. Take a breath in. Hug the yoga block. Exhale, lift off their head, off your shoulders. Lift the left leg up to the ceiling. You can straighten that left leg. Then bend the left leg and lower shoulders and head. Inhale. Stay rooted on the sacrum. Exhale, lift up. Right leg reaches. You can pull those right toes back. Bend the right leg. Lower shoulders and head. Inhale. Exhale, lift up. Left leg reaches. Hold here. Now with this right hip, you can even look at the hip and look at the knee. Internally rotate this right hip. So this knee is going to come more towards that yoga block. And feel a lot of engagement around that right hip. That's what we want to feel. Right leg comes back to neutral. Bend the left leg. Lower inhale. Exhale, lift up. Right leg reaches. Stay here for a second. I want you to think about drawing your core away from this yoga block. See how that kind of lights it up a little bit. And then internally rotate this left hip. Staying off the shoulder blades. Bring the left leg back, bend the right leg, lower inhale. Let's do one more round. Exhale, lift up. Left leg reaches. Internally rotate this right hip. Reach the right arm up to the ceiling, make a fist, and then punch that fist up from towards the ceiling. Right hand back, right leg in, bend the left leg and lower. Exhale, lift up. Right leg reaches up. Internally rotate this left hip. Reach the left arm up to the ceiling, make that fist with your hand, and then lift the fist a little closer to the ceiling. Look down towards the navel. Everything's lit up here. Left hand back, left leg in, right leg bends, and release. We'll bring the feet to the floor, block to the side, and let's lift up to hands and knees, table. Good. And as we're in table, lower the forearms down, interlace your hands, let your head just release. Lift the upper back and lift the knees off the floor, coming into a into dolphin pose. And as you're in dolphin pose, this is one of my favorite poses because it really gets that nice length through the triceps, support from the front of the ribs, the lower abdominals, and that can really not unweight the shoulders, but make it really integrated. So bring the feet together, lift the left leg up, bend the left leg. Let's practice that internal and external rotation that I shared at the front of the class. Internal and external. And as you're doing this, you're controlling the movement of the pelvis, that it's not moving right now. Set the left foot down, right leg lifts, bend the right knee, and internal and external rotation. So what's cool about the hips is they can move in 7 different ways, and right now we're doing 2, internal and external rotation. We'll do more throughout the class. Set the right foot down, lower both knees, and let's rise up to stand. If you want to use any music, you're welcome to do so. Let's do this together. We're going to do something called a happy squat. We're going to bend the knees a lot. You're going to bend the knees and then lower the ribs or abdomen onto the thighs. Interlace your hands and bring your thumbs up to the forehead. And then let your forehead just drop into the thumbs. This is like a variation of child's pose. It's a really nice way to just let the spine get some decompression. If you want, you can also make the legs a little bit longer and then let your spine hang a little bit more. Take one more breath here. And then hands to the floor, fingertips to the floor. Take a moment, eyes open, okay? And then we'll stand up all the way. Let's inhale, reach up to the ceiling, growing tall. As you exhale, hinge from your hips to fold. We'll step the right foot back, lower the right knee, lower the top of the right foot, rising up to our 90-90 lunge. And that 90-90 lunge is the right hip. Your hips are aligned over this back knee. We'll inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, lower hands and step into plank. From your plank, lower your knees and then bend the elbows to lower slowly. We're thinking about keeping the head and spine in alignment. Then pull back with your hands for cobra. Just a nice shift forward with the chest, lengthening in the back. Downward facing dog. Push to the arms as you step the right foot forward. Lower the left knee, top of the left foot, 90-90 lunge. Inhale, arms lift up. As you exhale, hands to the floor and step the left foot forward. Rise up, inhale. Fold, exhale. Step the left foot back. Lower the left knee. Let's keep the back toes tucked this time. We'll interlace the hands behind you with the thumbs on the sacrum. And feel your head is just in line, basically with your hands or maybe even with the sit bones. I could stay here for a while. Feels nice on the chest. We'll go to the other side. Go hands to the floor, step into plank. Knees down. You can even feel the glutes here lower slowly. That helps do that descent. Pull back for cobra. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward, right knee down. Right back toes are tucked for 90-90 lunge. Let's interlace the hands on the sacrum. Maybe the other thumb is on top or in front, however you say it. You can even feel the glutes engaging. The right glute engaging underneath your fingers. Hands to the floor, step the right foot forward, exhale. Rise up, breathe in. Fold as you exhale. Right foot steps back, lower the right knee. Let's rise up to 90-90 lunge again. Interlace hands, but keep just the left hand on the sacrum, right arm reaches up for lance dodger. Make a fist with your right hand and even lift the fist a little bit higher and get this nice long stretch across the front of the right thigh. Feel the glute, the right glute underneath your hand. And then both hands to the floor. Let's step into plank. A little bit different this time. We're going to hold it for a second, okay? And then lower knees. Knees can be up or down, lower all the way to the floor. We're going to pull back for cobra, inhale. And lift up in a downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up behind you, about hip height. Bend the left knee. Internal and external rotation here. Practice keeping your elbows straight. So nothing else is moving here but that hip joint. Keep it internally rotated. Lower the left knee underneath you for modified side plank. Right arm lifts. And then hover this right leg. Bring your hand to your hip. And we're just going to pulse this right leg. Up and down. So now we're starting to get into our lovely glute med a little bit more here. Holding. If you feel like you're moving a lot around the waist, then shorten the distance between your left hand and between your bottom hand and bottom knee, and make it really a little bit more stiff in the center, just to focus on this motion here at the hip. You're probably burning by now. That's good. We want that burn. We'll do one more moment here. And then right hand down, right knee down for table. Holding table, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Let's inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. One more inhale. Kind of like the movement of the spine, like we were doing, that articulation in a bridge. And let's lift up in a downward facing dog. From down dog, step your left foot about halfway forward. Load the left leg and lift the right leg into a standing L. So your arms are already pretty straight here. If this feels really like it's hard to be here, is the leg, then you can also come onto your blocks. That can give you a little bit, lift you up from the ground a little bit, give you more space. And let's step the feet together at the front of the mat. Exhale. Rise up, eyes open. Mostly if you get dizzy, eyes open. Exhale, fold forward. Step the left foot back. Lower the left knee. Let's rise up to low lunge. Your 90-90. Right hand on the sacrum. Left arm lifts up. Make a fist with your left hand and then lift that fist a little bit higher toward the ceiling. Always feel like this kind of like unglues the arm and kind of stretches the lats. You get to feel this left glute here. Exhale, lower both hands, plank. Hold for a moment. Notice that you're not protracting the shoulders, that you're not rounding in the mid-back here. It's nice and long. And then lower all the way to the floor. Knees are up or down, your choice. Let's pull back for cobra. Inhale. Elbows can be bent here, y'all. Lift up in a downward facing dog. Let's lift the right leg up to hip height. Bend the right knee. Internal and external rotation. The next time your hip is internally rotated, stay there, then lower the right knee underneath you, modified side plank. When I teach this to my people in person, they're always surprised at how close their hand and knee, their bottom hand and knee are. And then hover the left leg. And let's find the glute med and start to pulse. If you're wondering where the glute med is, kind of feel around and see what kind of tones up. Notice what starts to get sore, or not sore, but fatigued and burny. If you, again, on this side too, notice if you're starting to kind of wiggle around the waist or the elbow and really keep it nice and pretty, I'm going to use the word stiff on purpose. I want you to keep it like a stiffened, engaged feeling, that we can focus on this hip. It's like a dynamic stiffness, if that makes sense. Like it's a purposeful. Ooh, this side's burning faster. You might be noticing that too. We'll come to table. In table, let's inhale cow pose and just notice how that hug from the side hips helps with these back bends. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, roll. And exhale.